to myself a lot. I think that's why I'm able to make videos, because I kind of talk to myself on a regular anyway. But I don't really make New Year's resolutions. It's not something I ever really did. Like, I only ever did it like, because other people were doing it, or it was like a school thing or something like that. But I have decided upon 3 New Year's resolutions that I'm going to be implementing throughout this year and truly the rest of my life. But I guess you could say this is the test phase. But my New Year's resolutions, and I wanted to keep them simple because I've made resolutions in the past, but they've been so complex and just kind of unrealistic that they never lasted more than a week or two. So I decided to do pretty vague resolutions. So the first one is I'm going to be taking accountability. That's one. Taking accountability. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, like you probably don't realize.
Yeah, somebody's having a bitch fit. But my first resolution is taking accountability, which I think may be the most important one. Taking accountability for myself, what I do, my actions, my mistakes, also my wins and my blessings, and the good things I've done. Because a lack of accountability isn't always negative. I did a lot in 2025, and at the end of 2025, I was like, I literally, there were videos trending of people, like friends getting together, putting their accomplishments in cakes, and it was so cool. I really enjoyed them. But I remember like thinking to myself, like, damn, if I had friends to do this with, I don't even know what I would put, like, I don't know what I would put as an accomplishment. And at the time of me saying that, because it was kind of like an unconscious thing, you watch videos and you react to them sometimes before you think about it. But I seen a couple of these videos, so after seeing them a couple times, I started to realize, I kept saying this, like, I don't even have no accomplishments, or like, I don't have nothing I would be proud of. And that's not true. There's a lot of things that I should be and am proud of, and a lot of things I could have, put in my little accomplishment cake. But that lack of accountability, even for the positive things in my life that I've done, is a real flaw. So my first resolution is taking accountability, period. Second resolution is getting out of people's way. Okay? And that's a really big one for me, because it's, I'm a helpful person. I know I talk a lot of shit, and I say everybody can kiss my ass, and I don't give a fuck about nothing and nobody. But it's not because I'm just this negative, selfish, mean person. It's because I've been so nice, and I've been so kind, and I've been so giving to my detriment, that I really have to reinforce these principles in my head, because it's not natural. It's not natural for me. What's natural for me, my natural way of being, is to give, is to be kind, is to help, and some of that may be formed out of trauma, but a lot of that is just who I am as a person. You look at little bitty kids share. Kids actually believe in community. They do. Even before they get to a certain age, because after a certain age, they start to, that's when the social hierarchies and the conditioning and the gender norms and, the classes and, the socioeconomic status, that's when all of that gets in, and then they start to bully and single out and group together. But before that, a lot of kids, as long as they got a toy and some snacks, they don't mind sharing, so that's really my natural disposition, and I have to really reinforce not giving a fuck. That's not natural. I got hair in my mouth. These braids are so cute, but girl, they get on my damn nerves. I'm not even gonna lie, they cute, but they get on my nerves. I feel like it's hair everywhere. Like, it's not, like, I just feel like it's everywhere. They get caught on things. It's not as fun as it looks. I thought it was gonna be really cute, like a really good vibe. It is a vibe, but it's annoying. But yeah, it's not the hair is back in my mouth. Like, That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's just aggravating. I miss my afro, but but when I had my afro, I miss my braids. So it's no winning, you know. That's probably one of Michael Jackson's best songs to me. You can't win, you can't get even, and you can't get out of the game. I love that song. I love The Wiz. That's one of my favorite movies, actually. But sometimes I just listen to the Wiz soundtrack by itself. It's a really good music. But yeah, getting out of people's way, just letting people do them, man. I'm not trying to make liars tell the truth. I'm not trying to make, narcissistic people see different perspectives. I'm not trying to make, fake bitches be real. I'm out of the business. I'm out of the game, coach. I'm out of the game. I'm getting out of people's way. And whatever that means, I'm gonna get out of people's way in whatever context. I feel like sometimes as people too, we use individuals as buffers to our situations and our realities. So, like, for example, if let's say I'm having a problem in my life, a situation, and then I meet somebody who maybe, is not going through a situation like that, or they have a different situation going on, I'll use that person, their problems, and their situation as basically a reinforcement as to why my situation is bad. A lot of people do that. So that's kind of another reason why I feel like, okay, I'm going to get out of people's way, because I've noticed a lot of people will, they claim they like me, they claim, they want to be around me, but then they'll slowly use my presence as a agitator to them. Use my presence as a reasoning for why they're in this situation, even though they were in this situation before they met me. There was an individual that I had that was living with me, and after she left, she basically made it seem like I was like really holding her back in life. Mind you, she was only living with me because she was in a bad situation and I was trying to be a helpful friend. It wasn't because I wanted her there and I needed the company and I just was so lonely. No, it was because she was in a fucked up situation and I had a home, because I've been grown, okay? But I had a home and I didn't want to see my friend in a bad situation. I was also much younger, so I was a lot more naive too. But after that situation, she literally acted as if I was the person who was holding her back in life, as if I was the person who caused her to need my help, to ask me for help, as if I was the person who didn't want to see her on her own, like standing up on her own 2 feet. Mind you, again, she was in this situation before she moved in with me, before all of the events that led up to her asking to stay with me was things she did on her own free will. It had nothing to do with me. But a lot of people, again, they'll use you in whatever situations you're going through as a way to say, see, this is why I'm like this. This is why I'm going through this. This is why, because they just won't get right and they don't want to see me do good, and I don't give a fuck about you. I didn't give a fuck about her that much. Of course I gave a fuck about her in a friendly manner, of course. Obviously I wouldn't let her move into my house, but to be trying to like keep her down in life, I don't care. I was trying to pay bills. Like, you gotta think about these, people so crazy and they have their own psychosis. I'm trying to pay bills. Where would I have the time and energy to keep your life down and bad and out? How would I keep you down and out when I'm working 8+ hours a day? How does that work? So I've noticed that situation. I'm only bringing this situation up because I've noticed this theme play amongst other people. So it's not about her in the situation. I've made peace with that. Amen. But it's about the fact that the same way she put herself in a fucked up situation and used me as a buffer and a reasoning for the situation is what I noticed other people do in other ways with me. I've met people that their lives is however it is because of the actions they've chose, and somehow it becomes something to do with me and my fault. No. So I'm learning my second resolution is to move out of people's way. I'm going to get out your way. If you think I'm the problem, that is okay. I won't argue with you. We don't have to go back and forth. If you think I'm the problem, if you think I'm ruining your life, if you think I'm causing turmoil in your life, I will get out of your way. And you don't have to ask me twice. So, I'm fed up. I have a lot going on with myself. I got a lot going on in my life. I got a good thing going on. I have something going for myself. I don't have time to play these games with these people. People who don't have nothing, they don't have no goals, they don't have no accountability, they don't have no structure, they don't have anything, and they want to come and try to piggyback on whatever you're trying to build. I can't. It's hard to build something when you have people trying to ride on your back. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to build something, a life for myself. And it's hard to do that when you have individuals who are trying to live off of that life with you, even though it's not built yet. One day I was crying. I was so sad because I felt like it was people trying to take stuff from me that I haven't even got yet. I felt like people were trying to, I'm getting emotional thinking about it, but I felt like people was trying to take things from me that I haven't even begun to really build, And it's like they're so greedy and they're so selfish. They won't even give you a chance. Because the truth is, like, I feel like Jesus. Everybody eat. I'm not a selfish person. So when I get me right, it's gonna be a nice day for everybody. But people like that, they so greedy and they so selfish. They won't even give you an opportunity to stand on your own 2 feet and really build something to feed them. Because they're so greedy. They just want to take whatever they can get from you. And I was crying because I was emotional, and I was like, you trying to take something I ain't even built yet, But I was more emotional because I was realizing that the relationship wasn't what I thought it was. I was realizing that, they were using me, even though I don't have what I want yet. People can see you for who you are before you can sometimes. So even though I felt like I'm not in the situation, in the place I want to be in life, they still feel like they can take something from me. And that was really hurtful to realize that people actually, they are just waiting around. Like they are just playing their part until this happens so that they can get this. That was really hurtful. I'm glad I opened my eyes enough to see the truth and accept it for what it is, because now I'm not going to be around those people. I have not been around those people, but at the time it was very hurtful. And that's a part of my second resolution, moving out of people's way. I'm getting out of people's way. I'm not going to be in people's way. I'm going to get out your way. So there's 1, taking accountability. 2, moving out of people's way. My third and final New Year's resolution for 2026 is to listen the first time. And I think that's the hardest one for me, if I'm being really honest with you. I think that's the hardest one, because listening the first time means really trusting your intuition, and sometimes your intuition is really quiet. Like today, for instance, right? I went to the library and I was going to come over to this side of town to drop something off, but a very small voice told me, you know what, how about you do it tomorrow? Like, how about you go to the library and then go home and then go drop that stuff off tomorrow? A very small voice. But I was like, no, you know what? I got everything I needed to do done early. I have the time. I can make it in time. I'm gonna just go ahead in an attempt to be proactive, and get it out the way. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go drop it off today. I'm early. I got time. I did what I need to do. Whatever. When I get here, the place is closed. They're closed Monday and Tuesday. Now, because I'm taking accountability, I'm not upset. I can't be upset because I did not check the hours. I thought they were open Monday through Friday. I didn't know they were closed on Monday and Tuesday. So, because I'm taking accountability, it is my fault that I did not check before I came way over here if they're even open. Like, that's actually insane that I didn't check that, But my point is, if I would have listened to myself the first time, it wouldn't even have mattered. I would have just stayed home, or I would have at least probably checked. If I would have listened to myself, I would have at least checked, well, let me make sure, you know, but I didn't listen to myself. And that may seem pretty small, but, you know, if you can't listen to yourself for the small times, how are you going to listen to yourself during the big times, you know? So that's something that's really important to me right now, because a lot of the hurt I've been through this past year is hurt I've put on myself. Because I knew that people were around me for certain reasons. I knew certain people didn't like me. I knew certain people were using me. I knew certain people were lying to me. And because I wanted to protect my own emotions and not be real with myself, I ignored it. You know? And now a year later, I'm sitting around, I'm crying, I'm emotional, and I feel like fuck everybody. But the truth is, I knew what it was. And I knew what it wasn't. So that's probably my most important resolution this year, is listening the first time. Listening the first time. And I think it's hard sometimes because the truth hurts, man. Fuck, I don't know why it hurts. I don't know why the truth hurts. Like, wouldn't it be so convenient if the truth was pleasant, you know? But the truth does hurt. And I think that hurt is what makes me ignore the truth, because I be knowing the truth. I'm not stupid, you know? I have dreams. People telling themselves in my dreams. I don't even have to talk to you. I don't even have to talk to you. I've seen other people do things. I'm not even in the room. That's how crazy it is. In the dream world, I won't even be in the dream. I'll be looking from like a top perspective, looking down in the room, in the situation. I already know what you said about me. I already know what you did. I already know. So imagine being able to see it in the dream and still not listen to yourself the first time. You know? I done got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 messages. I ain't listened to none of them because I didn't listen the first time. So yeah, that's something I'm really big on, because I'm as I get older, I'm realizing I'm just prolonging my hurts. I'm prolonging my pain by acting like I don't know something and by ignoring something, you know? I think I'm saving myself. I think I'm protecting myself, but I'm really just hurting myself even more. It's like having an infection and you know it's infected, and instead of getting the infection healed, you're just like kind of going through life like you don't have this infection and it's not getting worse, you know? And then one day you wake up and you have to amputate your whole arm and you're confused, but it's like you let the infection get this bad, you know? So, yeah, those are my 3 New Year's resolutions. Take accountability, get out of people's way, listen the first time. I'm keeping it real simple, real cute, real light, so that I don't forget, and that I can actually, you know, use these things in day-to-day life, in real life, and start to see a real reflection of that, you know. So, yeah, that's my little 1-2. I'm waiting for my ride, and then I'm gonna slide, you know. But yeah, drop your New Year's resolutions if you have any, if you got any, if you want to. No pressure.